Today on CityCast Houston, we're heading into a long weekend and fall break for many students. Like most parents, I'm searching for fresh ideas for a good fall road trip. So I'm bringing on our friend Sofia Gonzalez from Houstonia Magazine to help us plan some fall getaways, from must-try food stops to spooky destinations and everything in between. These recommendations will make you want to pack your car and hit the open road. It's Thursday, October 10th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hey, Sofia, welcome back in. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm so pumped to learn about some of your recommendations for some fall road trips. But before we start, a lot of people take summer road trips, right? And even spring break ones. But as the travel editor for Houstonia Magazine, what do you think makes fall road trips so special and different?
Well, given that we're in Houston, I feel like fall is finally the time of year where we can kind of just relax outside. You can go outside and you're not dying from the heat. So I think that's why fall is the best. I know it's still kind of hot, but we have relatively pretty great temperatures here.
Yeah, and it's nice to just get away. And when you start driving maybe towards the north or towards like Conroe and Huntsville, you actually see some fall foliage. You see the colors changing.
Exactly. It's so nice that there's at least a little bit of that surrounding the Houston area, enough for us to get in the car and drive to it.
Yeah, it puts us in a nice little mood. Let's start with a fall road trip suggestion that really just screams fall, right? Pumpkin patches. Do you have a good recommendation for a road trip with a pumpkin patch as our destination?
Yeah, so Dewberry Farms in Brookshire. So this one's a little bit closer to home, but can still be an hour drive or even more depending on where in Houston you are. They have an 8-acre corn maze, they have rides, attractions, of course, a pumpkin patch. They have Instagrammable moments with so many photo opportunities. And then my favorite, hopefully this is everybody else's favorite, they also have fried Oreos. So you don't have to wait around for the rodeo to enjoy.
Ooh.
And they also, when the sun sets at Dewberry Farm, they have what they call their Lightmare. So they have Boo-rific nights. So it's this extremely fun thing to do in the fall, especially given that October kind of just means scary, spooky vibes. So you might want to save for the after part of that.
I'm going to say the after part is going to be filled with people with no kids, because when I take my kids there, we get there around 11 a.m. and about 3 p.m. I'm done for the day. So to like stick there until 7 o'clock is going to be so hard for me.
That is very fair. I can imagine, given having kids, how busy and crazy and hectic it might be.
Yeah, but it's such a fun place and totally worth the drive from wherever you're going. And as you mentioned, it could be a little bit further, right? If you're living on the east side, it will take some time, but totally worth it as a good road trip to get out. You get to drive through the entire city. You get there, you're in the farm area, and it's just so much fun. It's so peaceful. Let's talk about a haunted road trip, okay? I need something scary here. I personally don't like scary things, but if it's a good road trip, then I'm going to consider it.
Well, personally, I love scary. I used to be a big fan of Scream World when that was a thing here in Houston. So very sad about that not being here anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But just south of Houston, we have Creepy Hollow Haunted House. So it was actually voted the scariest in Texas and number 13 in the nation. Again, this is a quicker road trip, but with Houston traffic, you never know. So if you want a good scare, I recommend driving on over there. If you're maybe not as in tune with scary, you probably don't want to go. I've heard it's extremely scary. I'll be going this year. I've seen videos, I've seen pictures, and I am intrigued.
Now, are you going to go with a group of friends or just one friend, or are you going to be brave and go solo?
We are attempting to get a group together for it, but it's not going too well.
Okay.
My friends don't even like scary movies, so this will be a challenge.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so much fun for y'all to do this.
I know, I'm excited.
Okay, I'm going to keep on this fall theme and talk about some Oktoberfest road trips, because that is huge right now. People are spending time outside. They are indulging. They're having fun with friends. And there are some good Oktoberfest road trips, right?
Yeah, there are. So I'm personally a huge fan of Fredericksburg, Texas. I recommend going over there. The hill country is always so gorgeous, honestly, any time of year, but especially the fall season. While you're there, you can also go to some vineyards. So I feel like Fredericksburg is honestly the perfect place. Plus, with such a big German background, it will be a lot of fun. And it also helps generate support for local art projects.
Yeah, that is such a good place. And we talked about this during our summer road trips as well. Like the hill country is great any time of year, but here's a little tip for people going to the hill country right now. At night during the fall and winter, oh my God, the stars are popping like never before. It is so much fun. And there are so many dark sky parks in that area that you can really make it a stargazing trip as well.
Yes, exactly. And also, given that it's the hill country, you can go ahead and head on over to Enchanted Rock and get some hiking opportunities as well.
I think that's what we're going to do this long weekend coming up. I really just want to go there because it's cooler.
Yeah, I know. Get a little quick road trip in.
Researching schools for my kids was important to me and my wife. And if you're currently doing that, then I have another option in education beyond the traditional offerings for your family. Check out The Village School. It was named a top 20 best private school in America by niche.com and offers pre-K through 12th grade. The Village School curriculum is rigorous and focuses on STEAM. That's a combination of science, technology, math, and the arts, so students are prepared to accomplish great things in their personal journeys. Want to see if the Village School is right for you and your student? Join them on November 8th at 9 a.m. for their open house, where you can tour the campus, meet with faculty, and see how you fit into their incredibly diverse community that has more than 90 countries represented. Register for the open house at thevillageschool.com. Again, their open house is on November 8th, and you can register at thevillageschool.com. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let's talk about your mental health. October is a season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want to, whether it's at work, with friends, or around our family. But therapy can help you learn to accept all parts of yourself, so you can take off that emotional mask. I tried therapy earlier this year to help learn positive coping skills and to prepare myself emotionally for anything life throws at me. Remember, therapy isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, so it's meant to be convenient and flexible. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com /citycast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com /citycast.
Hi, this is David Plotz of CityCast. Have you thought about a gift for yourself this year? One that has the power to help you grow and learn and become a better version of yourself? Give yourself the gift of language by getting Babbel. With quick 10-minute lessons handcrafted by language experts, Babbel gets you talking a new language in 3 weeks, because talking is the key to really knowing a language. And that's how Babbel approaches it. It's designed for real conversation. So I have a trip to France planned with my girlfriend. Was it inspired by the Olympics? Yes, it was. And it's given me the chance to revive my old high school French. And it's so fun to catch back up with the vocabulary I'd forgotten, to remember all the food. For example, I'm in a lesson on ingredients, so I'm going to make crepes with butter and sugar. Avec sucre et de beurre salé, on va se régaler. We're going to have a feast. They learned this great new French expression too. J'en ai l'eau à la bouche. That means I have water in the mouth. That means it's mouth-watering. Love it. Love French. Anyway, Babbel gets you talking, and studies from Yale and Michigan State University and other leading universities prove that it works. So here is a special holiday deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com /citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com /citycast, spelled BABBEL.com /citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Okay, food is a big part of our life here in Houston, right? It pretty much drives all of our decisions when it comes to our social life. So let's let food guide our road trip destination this fall. Do you have anything good for me?
Yeah, so this one is Katie's Seafood House. It's in Galveston. So again, about an hour drive, maybe 2 hour from wherever you are. To understand why this is on my must list, it actually has a super interesting history. So it first started as a market to Galveston in 1998. That market is still up and running today. But in 2019, they decided to kind of branch out. And now they're a restaurant. They have so many menu items like seafood gumbo, fried oysters, jumbo Texas Gulf shrimp. Plus, going to Galveston and getting that little sea breeze is so nice during this time of year. You're not in the blistering heat. You don't even want to go in the water in the first place sometimes. So you get to just enjoy that sea breeze and that sea air. And I am a huge coast girl. So this one's one of my favorites.
Yeah, this was actually recommended by Halili, who was on our Best Seafood episode earlier this week. And he was saying that Katie's Seafood House is the place to be. And I've eaten there before. It's right there on the water, so you get beautiful views. And the seafood is so fresh that it is definitely worth the drive.
Yes, I agree. And if you ask any local there, they will probably recommend this as well. So it has to be on your must visit list.
And yeah, the locals will definitely recommend it. You know why? Because the pricing is very fair as well. Like sometimes at a tourist destination like Galveston, the pricing can be a little wonky and a little high. But Katie's Seafood, I've always found it to be very fair when it comes to fresh seafood.
Yeah, and in this economy, I mean, that's kind of hard to find now.
Yeah. Okay, this next one, I'm putting this in for me more than anything because I'm finally comfortable going to football games right now because it's not blistering hot. I couldn't go to a Texas game all of September because it was just way too hot. Now, I'm going to recommend this one, okay? But I want to get your thoughts on this first. Are you taking any football road trips this year?
So I am not, but last year I did travel to Austin to go to a UT game. I love Longhorns. Go Longhorns.
Hook 'em horns.
So yeah, I did last year.
So for me, right now is the perfect time to plan a good football road trip, right? Depending on if you're a fan of the Aggies, you're going to go to College Station. If you are a fan of the Longhorns like you and I are, you're going to pick a game in Austin and you can make a trip out of it. Whatever city you go, you can go to Waco. That's also a fun one to catch a Baylor game. Although Baylor is coming to the University of Houston this year. So all my Baylor Bears out there, like my wife, they are hyped to go watch their team right here in Houston. To me, November 9th, when Florida heads to Texas, is a really good game to go catch if you are a fan of the Longhorns. And even if you're not, because it's an 11 a.m. kick, so it won't be that hot. You'll get done by like 2:30, 3 o'clock, so you can go enjoy the city and the campus afterwards. And here's the best part. Tickets shouldn't be that expensive for that game because Florida isn't that good this year. And usually when a bad team rolls through Austin, you know what? Tickets drop a little bit. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's true. But I do have to say, in my heart, I am a full UH girl because I went there. So go Cougs. I really do hope that we make a little bit of a comeback soon.
All right, go Cougs. Hey, you know I support the University of Houston as well, but when they play UT, it's always UT for me, especially last year.
That's the only time.
Yeah, that's the only time, right? That's the only time. I actually went and watched the women's volleyball team last weekend. So I love them. I support them as well. Hey, let's get a wild card road trip. This is Sofia's wild card. All right. You can recommend anything. What do you got for me?
I want to recommend the Piney Woods. So East Texas is such a hidden gem, and it's something that I recently got to discover. It is so serene. You will drive through and all the greenery is just amazing. And in the fall, obviously, you get to see those changing colors. There is so much history here as well and so many opportunities to enjoy hiking, especially given you can't really go any other time of year because it's so hot here in Texas. So I think the Piney Woods is such a hidden gem that everybody needs to experience at least once. I personally really liked Martin Creek Lake State Park in general. They have an island in their park, which is something that you don't normally see.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's also Mission Tejas. And plus some areas of the Piney Woods, you can even find zip lining, which is really awesome. I got to zip line while I was there, and Although I am afraid of heights, I will say it was the most fun that I've ever had. So I want to go with the Piney Woods.
Yeah, Piney Woods so underrated. I haven't gone in that area in a while, and I think I'm circling this right now as a drive and maybe turning it into a camping trip as well because there's so many good camping sites in that area.
Yes, exactly. And if you go to Davy Crockett National Forest, there's also so many great opportunities. And also, if you're a history nerd, this is the place to go. This is the place to travel.
Okay, Sophia, you've given us so many great recommendations for day trips, but my next and final question for you is, give me a good weekend trip to take this fall.
Yeah, I think San Antonio, you get to go and eat so much great food. And then you have the river walk, which people will say is basic. But of course, with this cooler weather, you have to just get any ounce of outdoor activity you can. So I have to say San Antonio is one of the best places to go. You have your food, you have the river walk, and you just have such a great time visiting more historical areas of Texas.
You know what I like doing right now with the San Antonio road trip is planning it by driving through some of the great barbecue spots in Central Texas and then eventually getting to San Antonio. So like you're literally driving all day, hitting up some great spots throughout all of those great cities in that area. And then you get to San Antonio, you rest, and then you go the next day and eat some even more delicious food all across San Antonio.
You know, that is something I'll have to take note of and make sure to do next time I travel to San Antonio. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, buckle up, enjoy driving our great state. There's a lot of great road trips. There's a lot of great eats to be had, a lot of memories to be made this fall. And Sophia, I appreciate you joining us and sharing all of these recommendations.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation and getting to share a little bit with y'all.
That was Sofia Gonzalez. You can read all her work on HoustoniaMag.com. Hey, what's your favorite fall road trip from H-Town? Send us a message on Instagram at CityCastHouston and give us a follow if you haven't already. New to the show? Hit the subscribe button so you can get more news and a dose of joy about Houston in your podcast feed. Want even more ideas for trips and events around town? Subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Houston, with the info in our show notes. Thanks. That will do it for today. I'm Raheel Ramzanali. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new. How about social life. So let's let it drive our. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. That is definitely going to be a blooper. 3, 2, 1.